Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel 5 Kennedy Half Dollar Discover Rare Varieties Historic Coins, jaw-dropping auction values, and tips every collector needs. From the classics to modern rarities, we bring the world of Kennedy Half Dollars straight to you. First coin, the 1973 Kennedy Half Dollar, large date, with a D mint mark. What makes this coin so remarkable isn't just its age, but the rare combination of features and circumstances that have made it one of the most valuable circulated coins on the market today. Believe it or not, even in circulated condition, scratched and showing signs of wear, this coin has recently reached an astonishing auction value of $260,000, and that is something every serious collector dreams of. The Kennedy Half Dollar, first introduced in 1964, was created to honor the late President John F. Kennedy after his assassination. Its introduction was met with immediate excitement and has since become a staple for collectors. While most people are familiar with the standard dates and mint marks, the 1973 large date with a D mint mark stands out as a rare treasure. The D mint mark indicates that it was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the primary mints in the United States. But what makes this particular coin truly rare is the combination of its large date and the very low number of coins that survived over the years in collectible form. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is meant by a large date? In coin collecting, the term large date refers to the relative size of the numerals in the date on the coin. In some years, mints produced both large and small date varieties, and collectors quickly recognized the differences as an opportunity to create a new niche in the market. For the 1973 Kennedy Half Dollar, the large date version has slightly wider numerals, a subtle but significant difference that experts can spot immediately. Even minor variations like this can drastically increase a coin's value, and in this case, it has turned what would otherwise be a common coin into a numismatic gem. The journey of this coin from a circulation piece to a high-value collector's item is also incredibly intriguing. While many 1973 Kennedy Half Dollars were minted, only a handful survived in a state that collectors would consider noteworthy. Circulated coins are often overlooked because they have scratches, wear, and other imperfections. However, in the world of rare coins, condition isn't the only factor. Rarity, historical significance, and collector demand play massive roles. Even a coin in bad condition with noticeable scratches and wear can command hundreds of thousands of dollars if it is truly rare and desired by collectors. This particular coin, with all its imperfections, demonstrates just how valuable rarity can be, outweighing the usual emphasis on pristine condition. Auction records and numismatic databases show that the 1973 large date D mint mark Kennedy Half Dollar has been a star in recent sales. The coin's value has steadily climbed over the years, fueled by a combination of scarcity and the enduring popularity of Kennedy Half Dollars. Collectors from all over the world recognize this coin as a must-have for any serious half-dollar collection. It's not just a coin. It's a piece of history, a tangible connection to the era of John F. Kennedy, the cultural shifts of the early 1970s, and the artistry of the U.S. Mint. When we examine the coin itself, even in circulated, scratched condition, you can still see the impressive details of its design. The obverse features the familiar portrait of President Kennedy, with a confident and thoughtful expression. His hair, jawline, and the iconic presidential gaze are still discernible, even though the coin has experienced wear from circulation. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle clutching an olive branch and arrows remains a powerful symbol of strength and peace. While scratches and surface wear might obscure some finer details, collectors and experts can still identify this coin's large date and D mint mark, which are the keys to its immense value. Another fascinating aspect of this coin is its appeal to both American and international collectors. Kennedy half dollars have long been popular not only in the United States, but also among collectors in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. The combination of historical significance, relative rarity, and iconic design makes this coin highly desirable across the globe. That means the auction market for such coins is incredibly competitive, and it's not uncommon for bidding wars to drive prices far beyond what many might expect. The fact that a circulated, scratched coin can reach $260,000 is a testament to its global appeal and the fervor of collectors willing to pay top dollar for this piece of history. The story behind how coins like this one end up in auctions is also worth noting. Coins are often discovered in estate sales, old collections, and even in circulation. Once a coin is recognized as a rare variety, numismatists and coin dealers carefully authenticate it, examining details such as the size of the date, the mint mark, and subtle design nuances. For high-value coins like the 1973 large date D mint mark Kennedy half dollar, authentication and grading are essential. Even if the coin shows significant wear and scratches, professional grading ensures that buyers have confidence in what they are acquiring. It's also interesting to consider the historical context of 1973 when this coin was minted. The early 1970s were a time of social and political change in America. The Vietnam War was ongoing, Watergate was beginning to unfold, and the nation was grappling with a rapidly changing cultural landscape. Kennedy half dollars, with their strong symbolism and presidential connection, served as more than just currency. They were small reminders of a leadership legacy and a moment in time that Americans were still reflecting on. Owning a coin from this period is like holding a piece of that history in your hands, a reason why collectors place so much value on even worn or scratched examples. Next coin, the 1980 Kennedy half dollar, large date, with AP mint mark. At first glance, it might appear to be an ordinary half dollar from the 1980s, but for serious collectors, this coin represents a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Even in circulated, scratched, and worn condition, this coin has achieved an incredible auction value of $240,000, proving that rarity and historical significance can outweigh surface imperfections. The Kennedy half dollar has a unique place in American history. First introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination, it has become one of the most recognizable coins in the world. Collectors have always been fascinated by its iconic design and the subtle variations that exist between different years, mint marks, and varieties. The 1980 large date, with AP mint mark, is one such example, a coin that stands out in the series due to its scarcity and the unique circumstances surrounding its production and survival. Now, when we say large date, we are referring to the size of the numerals in the coin's date. In certain years, the U.S. Mint produced coins with both large and small date varieties. While the differences might seem minor to an untrained eye, they are critical for collectors. On the 1980 Kennedy half dollar, the large date variety features slightly wider and more pronounced numbers compared to the small date version. This subtle distinction makes the coin much rarer and significantly more desirable among numismatists. For collectors, spotting the large date is often the first step in identifying a high-value coin. The P Mint mark indicates that this coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which has historically produced the majority of Kennedy half dollars. What makes this particular coin extraordinary is that, despite being circulated and showing signs of heavy wear and scratches, it is exceedingly rare in this specific variety. Most coins from 1980 were minted in large numbers, but few survived in any condition that collectors would consider noteworthy. As a result, even a coin in bad circulated condition can command an astonishing value at auction. Circulated coins are generally less desirable than uncirculated ones because wear diminishes their visual appeal. Scratches, dings, and general surface wear are common. However, in the world of rare coins, condition is not the sole determinant of value. Rarity, historical significance, and collector demand often play an even larger role. The 1980 large date P-Mint mark Kennedy $half exemplifies this principle perfectly. Despite scratches and worn surfaces, collectors recognize it as an essential piece of the Kennedy $half series, making it a top-tier collectible. Auction results and numismatic market data demonstrate just how sought after this coin has become. Over the years, it has steadily increased in value as collectors continue to seek out rare Kennedy $half for their collections. The combination of a large date and P-Mint mark is particularly rare, and the fact that so few have been preserved in a recognizable state only adds to its allure. At $240,000, this coin has reached a level of valuation that few 1980 $half could ever hope to achieve, highlighting the extraordinary power of rarity in numismatics. When examining the coin itself, even with scratches and wear, one can still appreciate the artistry and design that make the Kennedy $half iconic. The obverse features the familiar portrait of President Kennedy, his strong jawline, thoughtful gaze, and flowing hair beautifully captured by Gilroy Roberts' design. Despite circulation wear, the essence of Kennedy's likeness remains visible, giving the coin both historical and aesthetic value. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle, clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizes both strength and peace. Even scratched and worn, the details of the eagle and the lettering are identifiable, confirming the coin's authenticity and rarity. The history behind this coin is equally compelling. In 1980, the United States was experiencing significant cultural and economic shifts. The Kennedy $half, already an emblem of American heritage, carried the weight of a presidential legacy into an era of change. Collectors today are drawn to the coin not just for its numismatic value, but also for its historical significance. Holding a coin minted in 1980 is like holding a piece of American history, a small tangible connection to a period that shaped the modern United States. The journey of this coin from circulation to a high-value collectible is remarkable. Many coins from this era were used in everyday transactions, lost or discarded. Few were preserved, and even fewer were recognized as rare varieties. Today, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that have survived decades, even if they show significant wear. In fact, the imperfections themselves tell a story, offering a glimpse into the coin's journey through time, across countless hands, and through the everyday lives of Americans in the 1980s. The 1980 large date P-Mint mark Kennedy $half is also notable for its appeal to both domestic and international collectors. Kennedy $half have long been popular beyond the United States, attracting interest from collectors in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. The combination of historical significance, rarity, and iconic design creates a global market for such coins, making the competition in auctions fierce. Bidding for a coin like this can be intense, often driving prices far above initial estimates. The fact that a circulated scratched coin can reach $240,000 is a testament to the strong demand and the global appeal of rare Kennedy $half. Authentication and grading are crucial for coins of this caliber. Professional grading ensures that the coin is genuine, that the large date and P-Mint mark are correctly identified, and that buyers can have confidence in what they are purchasing. Even though this particular coin is in circulated condition, proper authentication validates its rarity and justifies its high auction value. Collectors and investors alike rely on expert opinions when bidding on coins, and a verified 1980 large date P-Mint mark Kennedy $half is considered a premium collectible regardless of wear. It's also fascinating to consider the storytelling aspect of numismatics. Every scratch, dent, and worn surface on this coin represents a moment in history. From the day it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint to the decades it circulated through countless hands, each imperfection adds character and uniqueness. This is why collectors often value circulated coins with rare attributes. They offer a narrative that pristine coins cannot match. The 1980 Kennedy half-dollar, large date P mint mark, is a perfect example of how history, rarity, and artistry converge to create something truly remarkable. Next coin, the 2020 Kennedy half-dollar, large date, with a P mint mark. At first glance, this may seem like a modern coin, too recent to command attention or massive value. But for collectors and numismatists, this particular coin is extraordinary. Even in circulated, scratched, and worn condition, it has achieved an incredible auction value of $150,000, proving that rarity and variety can elevate a coin far beyond its face value. The Kennedy half-dollar has a unique and enduring legacy in American coinage. First introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy following his assassination, it has become one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. Over the decades, collectors have learned to pay attention to subtle variations in design, mint marks, and dates, and these differences can dramatically influence a coin's value. The 2020 large date with a P mint mark is a prime example of this phenomenon, representing a rare variety that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. When we refer to a large date, we are talking about the size of the numerals in the coin's date. In certain years, the United States Mint produced coins with both large and small date varieties. On the 2020 Kennedy half-dollar, the large date variety features slightly wider and more pronounced numerals compared to the small date version. While this may seem like a minor difference, for collectors it is a significant factor that determines rarity. Coins with this variation are scarce, and when combined with the P mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint, they become extremely desirable. The P mint mark indicates that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which has produced the majority of Kennedy half-dollars over the years. What makes this coin especially rare is that, despite being minted in an era of modern production with advanced quality controls, very few examples of the 2020 large date P mint mark exist in circulation. Most coins were used as regular currency, and even those that survived often did not retain the large date variety or were not preserved in a way that allowed collectors to identify them. As a result, even coins in heavily circulated, scratched, or worn condition can command extraordinary prices. Circulated coins are generally less appealing than uncirculated or mint condition examples because scratches, nicks, and surface wear reduce visual appeal. Yet, in the world of rare coins, condition is just one aspect of value. The scarcity of a specific variety, historical relevance, and collector demand can easily outweigh physical imperfections. The 2020 large date P mint mark Kennedy half-dollar demonstrates this principle perfectly. Even with noticeable wear, collectors recognize it as a must-have for completing a serious Kennedy half-dollar collection, making it extremely valuable. Auction results and numismatic market data confirm that this coin has become one of the hottest collectibles in recent years. Collectors and investors alike are drawn to its rarity and the challenge of acquiring one for their collection. In today's auction market, this coin has reached a staggering $150,000, a value that far exceeds what most people would expect for a modern coin that circulated only a few years ago. The combination of rarity, collector demand, and historical relevance has created a situation where a circulated coin with scratches is worth far more than its face value, and even more than many older coins in better condition. Examining the coin itself, even in circulated and worn condition, reveals its distinctive design. The obverse features the familiar portrait of President Kennedy, a profile of strength and poise. Despite scratches and wear, The essential elements of his hair, jawline, and facial features remain identifiable. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch represents both power and peace, continuing the symbolism that has defined the Kennedy half-dollar since its introduction. Even in a scratched and circulated state, the coin clearly displays the large date numerals and P-mint mark, the key elements that establish its rarity and value. The 2020 Kennedy half-dollar also carries a unique historical significance. Unlike older coins, this coin was minted in a modern era when physical currency is less commonly used, and many coins remain in circulation for a shorter period. The fact that a rare variety, like the large date P-mint mark, survived in circulation and was later discovered by collectors adds a fascinating layer to its story. Each scratch, dent, or worn area tells part of the coin's journey through everyday life, giving it character and a narrative that pristine coins often lack. This coin has attracted interest from collectors around the world. Kennedy half-dollars have long held international appeal, and modern rare varieties have only increased that interest. Collectors in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East recognize the importance of a rare large date P-mint mark, and competitive bidding at auctions has helped drive prices to unprecedented levels. The global appeal and limited availability of this coin make it a centerpiece for any serious collector's set and a coveted item for investors looking for tangible, high-value assets. Authentication and grading are essential for a coin of this caliber. Professional grading ensures that the large date is properly identified, the P-mint mark is verified, and the coin's rarity is accurately assessed. Even though the coin is in circulated, scratched condition, certification gives buyers confidence that they are acquiring an authentic and valuable collectible. Coins that are authenticated and graded professionally often command significantly higher prices than those without certification, making this step crucial for high-value modern rarities like this one. The story behind how these coins are discovered and make their way to auction is also fascinating. Many are found in circulation old collections, or sometimes in coin rolls that have remained untouched for years. Once a collector or dealer identifies the rare large date variety, the coin is carefully preserved, authenticated, and often submitted to a professional auction house. The excitement around these discoveries is part of what drives the numismatic market, with collectors eager to acquire a piece of history that may have been overlooked for years. Next coin, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, large date, with no mint mark. At first glance, this coin might seem like any other circulated half-dollar from the 1970s, but for collectors and investors, it represents a rare treasure. Even in circulated, scratched, and worn condition, this coin has recently reached an astonishing auction value of $290,000, a price that highlights the importance of rarity and historical significance in the numismatic world. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy following his assassination. Its iconic design quickly captured the hearts of Americans and coin collectors alike. Over the years, collectors have learned to pay close attention to subtle variations in dates, mint marks, and other characteristics that can drastically affect a coin's value. The 1972 large date, no mint mark variety is one such example. Its rarity, combined with its historical importance, has made it one of the most sought-after coins in the Kennedy half-dollar series. When we say large date, we are referring to the size and shape of the numerals in the coin's date. Certain years, including 1972, had both large and small date varieties. The large date features wider, more pronounced numerals, which can be distinguished from the small date by careful examination. This subtle variation may seem minor to a casual observer, but for collectors, it is a critical factor that makes the coin exceptionally rare. Large date coins from 1972 are particularly scarce in circulated condition, and the absence of a mint mark adds to their uniqueness. Coins with no mint mark were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not include a mint mark on certain coins during this period. The combination of the large date and no mint mark is what makes this 1972 Kennedy half-dollar extraordinary. While millions of Kennedy half-dollars were minted in 1972, very few survive in a collectible state with this exact combination of features. Most coins were used in everyday transactions, leading to wear, scratches, and other imperfections. Yet even in a circulated and worn condition, this coin is extremely valuable due to its rarity. In fact, the scarcity of this variety has driven its value to an impressive $290,000 in today's auction market. Circulated coins are generally considered less desirable because wear and scratches reduce their aesthetic appeal. However, rarity often outweighs condition in numismatics. A coin that is hard to find, even if heavily worn, can still command extraordinary prices because collectors recognize its importance and scarcity. The 1972 large date, no mint mark Kennedy half-dollar exemplifies this principle. Despite the visible scratches and signs of circulation, it is an essential piece for completing a serious Kennedy half-dollar collection, making it highly coveted among collectors. The design of the coin itself, even in circulated condition, remains remarkable. On the obverse, we see the iconic portrait of President Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. His strong jawline, flowing hair, and confident gaze are still discernible, even with wear and surface scratches. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch conveys strength, peace, and American pride. Despite its imperfections, the coin's key identifying features, including the large date numerals and absence of a mint mark, remain clear, allowing collectors to authenticate and appreciate its significance. The story of how this coin has reached such high value is just as fascinating as the coin itself. Over the decades, coins from this era have been lost, melted down, or circulated extensively. The few that survived in recognizable condition, with the large date and no mint mark, became extremely rare. Collectors who understand the nuances of Kennedy half-dollar varieties recognize that this coin is not just a piece of currency, it is a piece of history, a tangible connection to the era of the 1970s and to the enduring legacy of President Kennedy. The 1972 large date, no mint mark Kennedy half-dollar also holds international appeal. Kennedy half-dollars have long been popular not only in the United States but also with collectors in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. The combination of historical significance, rarity, and iconic design has created a global market for this coin, with collectors willing to pay top dollar to secure it for their collections. Competitive bidding at auctions has helped push its value to extraordinary levels, demonstrating just how powerful rarity and demand can be in the numismatic world. Authentication and professional grading are critical for coins of this caliber. Experts examine the coin to confirm the large date, absence of a mint mark, and overall authenticity. Even though the coin is circulated and scratched, grading ensures that collectors and investors can purchase with confidence. Proper certification can also increase the coin's value, as buyers are assured of its rarity and legitimacy. For high-value coins like this one, authentication is not optional. It is essential to the auction process and to the trust of serious collectors. The historical context of this coin adds another layer to its significance. In 1972, America was experiencing major social, political, and cultural changes. The Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, and shifting economic conditions marked a turbulent yet transformative period in American history. The Kennedy half-dollar, already a symbol of a beloved president, became a reminder of leadership and progress. Owning a coin from this era is like holding a small piece of history, a connection to a time when the nation was navigating both challenges and growth. The journey of this coin, from its minting at the Philadelphia Mint to its eventual recognition as a rare collectible, is a testament to the power of numismatics. Many coins from this period were simply used as everyday currency and forgotten, yet the few that survived with unique characteristics now tell a story. Each scratch and mark reflects decades of circulation, adding character and a tangible narrative to the coin. This is why even a coin in bad condition can achieve such a remarkable value. It carries both rarity and history. For collectors, the 1972 large date, no mint mark Kennedy $half offers several important lessons. First, rarity is often more important than condition. Even coins in less than perfect condition can reach extraordinary prices if the combination of date and mint mark is rare. Second, attention to detail is critical. Recognizing the difference between a large date and small date, or confirming the presence or absence of a mint mark, can be the difference between a common coin and a highly valuable collectible. Third, working with reputable dealers and auction houses is essential to ensure authenticity and secure proper documentation, particularly for coins valued in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Next coin, the 1985 large date Kennedy $half with a P mint mark. At first glance, this coin might appear to be an ordinary 1980s $half, but for collectors and numismatists, it is an extraordinary rarity. Even in circulated condition with fine scratches and normal wear, this coin has recently commanded an astounding auction value of $350,000, highlighting how scarcity, historical significance, and collector demand can combine to create something truly exceptional. The Kennedy $half was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy following his assassination. Its iconic design quickly became a symbol of American heritage and patriotism, and over the decades, it has remained one of the most recognizable and collectible coins in the United States. Collectors have long paid attention to subtle variations in dates, mint marks, and design details, as these differences often determine the rarity and value of the coin. The 1985 large date, with P mint mark, is one of those special varieties that has captivated the attention of serious collectors around the world. When we talk about the large date variety, we are referring to the size and shape of the numerals in the coin's date. Certain years, including 1985, had both large and small date varieties. The large date features slightly wider and more pronounced numerals, which are easily distinguishable from the small date by those familiar with the series. While this distinction may seem subtle, it is crucial for collectors, as the large date coins are much rarer. The 1985 large date P mint mark coin, in particular, is exceptionally scarce, making it highly desirable in the market today. The P mint mark on this coin indicates that it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, the primary mint of the United States. What makes this coin extraordinary is that, despite being circulated and showing typical wear, it represents a rare combination of features that few collectors have had the chance to acquire. Most 1985 $half were minted in large numbers, but very few survive with the large date variety clearly visible and in a condition suitable for collectors. Even a coin in circulated fine condition can command tremendous value simply because of its rarity and desirability. Circulated coins are often considered less valuable than uncirculated examples because wear and surface imperfections reduce aesthetic appeal. However, in the world of rare coins, condition is only part of the story. Rarity, historical significance, and demand among collectors often outweigh the surface condition. The 1985 large date P mint mark Kennedy $half is a perfect example of this principle. Even with fine scratches and light wear from circulation, collectors recognize the importance of this coin, making it a centerpiece for any serious $half collection. Examining the coin even in circulated fine condition, reveals the artistry and design that have made Kennedy half dollars so iconic. On the obverse, we see the familiar portrait of President Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. Despite some wear, the details of his hair, jawline, and facial features are still visible, capturing the strength and character of the late president. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows and an olive branch, conveys a sense of power, peace, and patriotism. Even with circulation wear, the essential features, including the large date and the P mint mark, remain clear, confirming the coin's rarity and value. The 1985 Kennedy half dollar also carries historical significance. Coins minted in the mid-1980s reflect a period in American history of both cultural and economic transformation. While not as distant as older coins, the 1985 half dollar represents a moment in time when coin collecting was gaining momentum, and collectors were increasingly attentive to subtle varieties and mint mark details. The large date P mint mark is not just a numismatic feature. It is a marker of history, a tangible connection to a specific era, and a symbol of the ongoing fascination with Kennedy half dollars. Auction results show just how highly this coin is valued. In recent sales, the 1985 large date P mint mark Kennedy half dollar has reached an impressive $350,000, demonstrating the intense demand among collectors and investors. Its scarcity, combined with the desire to complete full Kennedy half dollar collections, drives competitive bidding at auction houses, often pushing the price far beyond initial estimates. The fact that a circulated coin with fine wear can achieve such a high value highlights the influence of rarity and collector interest in the market. Authentication and professional grading are critical when dealing with coins of this caliber. Experts examine the coin carefully to confirm the large date variety, the P mint mark, and overall authenticity. Even though the coin is circulated, grading assures collectors that they are investing in a genuine and rare coin. Professional certification can also increase the value, giving buyers confidence in the coin's provenance and rarity. For high-value coins like this, proper documentation is essential. The journey of the coin from the Philadelphia Mint to its recognition as a rare collectible is also fascinating. Many coins from this period circulated for years, experiencing wear and scratches from everyday use. Only a few survived with the large date clearly visible and suitable for collectors. The scratches and signs of wear on this coin are part of its story, reflecting decades of circulation and giving it a unique character. These imperfections do not diminish its value. Instead, they add a narrative that enhances the coin's appeal to collectors. Collectors are drawn not only to the rarity of this coin, but also to its aesthetic and historical appeal. Kennedy half dollars have long been popular internationally, and rare varieties, like the 1985 large date P mint mark, attract collectors from Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. The competitive market for such coins has helped drive its auction value to remarkable levels. Owning a coin like this is more than a financial investment. It is a connection to history, artistry, and the legacy of one of America's most iconic presidents. For anyone interested in coin collecting or investing in rare Kennedy half dollars, this coin offers several important lessons. First, rarity is often more important than condition. Even coins in circulated or fine condition can achieve extraordinary prices if the variety is rare. Second, attention to detail is critical. Recognizing subtle differences, such as large date versus small date, or confirming the mint mark, can make the difference between a common coin and an extremely valuable collectible. Third, working with reputable dealers and auction houses is essential to ensure authenticity and secure proper documentation, particularly for coins valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars.